Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the Nine of Cups. This is joy. This is bliss. This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. This is the happiness that keeps on happening. This is a real optimism. This is the belief that I can be happy in life, that I can find the path forward, that I can align my life to my highest purpose. I can be happy. I can have abundance and fulfillment on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and the spiritual, creative planes. In every dimension of my life, I can have joy and abundance, jubilation. I can have fulfillment and satisfaction. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. Is there an obstacle to this? What is the challenge that's preventing you from getting this? Not much. This is the Magician. Perhaps it's a matter just of you feeling the confidence that you can control and create your reality. Nine of Wands, we have the Universe card. We have a Princess of Swords. That's interesting. There we have the Eon, Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening, a baptism by fire. This is a very intentional doorway through which you are going. Okay, this is a great decision that you're making. The way forward for you is to decide that you are enough, that you are magic. So I've got this reminder over here. Don't forget, you are magic. You are the magician. I think that you've been doubting yourself. You've been feeling as if you don't know enough, you haven't learned enough, you haven't developed the right skills yet. There's still a lot of things that you aren't sure about. This is a very clear path, okay? But we have a Knight of Pentacles, an Eight of Pentacles. We have Queen of Wands. And we've got the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is surrender. The Hanged Man is realizing that if I want to achieve my best life, if I want to be happy, there are things that I got to let go of. There are things I've got to recognize what things have been keeping me down. Okay? And it could be that there is something that we're not so sure about yet. In a way, Spirit is saying, wait a second, hang on, don't take another step don't take another step until you realize that you are the magician. Because otherwise, this feels like life is happening to me. That, yeah, my life's changing. Yeah, I'm going into this unknown future, but I have no control over it. This is someone who's just like riding down the river. You're in an inner tube, right? You're doing the rip-roaring rapids, and you have no ability to navigate, no ability to control it. Okay, it's very interesting. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with our little octopus friend, the Eight of Tentacles. Right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Now let's look around the room. We see major, major, major. Very clear linear path. Okay? And we see the Hanged Man at the end. The projected outcome, I think, is either that we do it or we don't do it. Okay, I think it's a very clear way forward. You've been waiting long enough. It's time you take your life into your own hands and you make that big decision. You go through that doorway that says, I'm done with the old world. I'm ready for the new. I'm done with my old universe, my old life, the old way of doing things. I'm done. I'm letting go of the old me, and I'm ready to build the new me. Otherwise, I think in the long-term kind of thing, we're going to just have more of the same. We're going to continue to feel powerless. Okay? And I don't know, Spirit's saying something about you being in sales. Or Spirit is telling me to mention a sale of some kind. I don't know if something is, you're considering selling something or you already have. I don't know if this is like a big thing, like you're maybe considering selling your house. Or well, that makes sense to me, right? If we're looking for a fresh start, we're looking to kind of take control over our life. Maybe there is some, definite step that we have to take in order to break ties with the past. Maybe it's our childhood home or the family home or our old something, whatever. In order to move into the future, we've got to let go of the past. Okay. Sunflowers are a very important symbol for you. Somebody has a sunflower tattoo or some kind of artwork or some kind of drawing or a painting of the sunflowers. Yeah. Okay, so we've got our majors. We've got fire and fire. We got our water. Of course, we got our water. We've got our air. And we've got our earth. Okay. So the magician here is the one that can choose. The magician is the one that can cause change and conformity with our will. The magician is our ability to manifest. Okay. The magician can adapt. The magician can say, all right, well, you know what? Whatever my life is now, it's fine. I'm just going to leave things how they are, and I want to make the most of it. Okay? And I think that would be our hanged man energy here. The projected, if we don't do anything, if we keep our confidence under the surface, we keep our doubts up top, then the way the energy is going to flow is going to bypass that, and it's going to be more of the same. Okay? The magician has the ability to adapt to anything. Drop you in any jungle anywhere, and you can make a life. You can figure out how to make it work, right? But just because you can adapt doesn't mean you should. Sometimes the magician needs to say, I don't like the conditions. I'm going to change those conditions, right? So really, it's two things. It's either I change to fit in here. If we got a round hole in front of us, well, I guess I gotta be a round peg, right? Or we say, hey, you know what? I don't want to be a round peg. I'm a square peg. I got to go find a square hole somewhere. Okay? So it's either I change because everything else is staying the same, or I stay the same and everything else has to change. Well, both of those seem a little bit unlikely, right? So I think the real message here is there is a balance. There is a flexibility. That I do need to grow and change and evolve and adapt and be flexible and be elastic. But I also have the ability to change the conditions so that it's a little bit more conducive. I have to try to create the right environment that makes me want to change. I got to put myself into the right circumstances that will foster, that will bring about, that will entice me to develop the right qualities in myself. I don't want to become that person. Therefore, there's a resistance to me adapting to that set of circumstances. If these circumstances feel a little bit more harmonious, a little bit more resonant with who I am, or what my goals are, or what my higher aspirations are, then I'm a little bit more likely to grow and adapt and kind of allow myself to be molded. Because every relationship, every circumstance we're in is an alchemical relationship. Every circumstance we're in molds us, shapes us into something, right? If that's intentional, good. If it's not intentional, then I think it's kind of the hanged man. The hanged man is being shaped by the universe and has zero say over it. Of course, the Eon card is the opposite. It's saying, I'm shaping the universe. So we have two of these, and I think we need to have a combination of both of these. And that's the way forward for you. Okay, the way forward for you specifically, I think, is to activate your self-confidence to go through this and to realize that there are intentional changes that you can make. Yeah, you have to surrender and accept a lot of what happens in life. But there is still a great deal that you have control over and that you must change if you're going to create your future that you desire. Okay? There is a C or a K name person that's very close to you. They were a psychic or a medium or some kind of a channel. Somebody like does palmistry in your life. Yeah. The Nine of Wands underneath the surface here. This is your self-confidence. This is your feeling that I'm capable of doing it. Okay. This is your sense of strength, your sense of power. It's hidden underneath the surface. It tells me that you don't always feel that all that capable. Sometimes we don't feel strong enough to make the changes in the world that we really want to see. Okay. So part of your work right now is for the magician to say, you know what? I'm done letting the world change who I am. It's time for me to go and change the world. A little bit. Try for the balance. I imagine the mystery card there will be the Temperance card or the Justice card or any other card of that kind of balance. Yeah. But right now, what we're trying to find within us, what Spirit wants you to acknowledge, is your strength and your power, that you are capable of manifesting your reality. You are capable of causing change in conformity with your will. Now, you realize that you have to be in alignment with that will yourself. Like, our ego has to change a little bit, and we have to be willing to grow and adapt and evolve. Okay? And so the main concept here is that self-confidence, that we are capable of creating our reality, that you are strong enough to say, these are the changes that I'm making, and here I am going through that doorway and I'm making those changes. What we see up above is a little bit of insecurity, kind of the opposite of the Nine of Wands, right? This is somebody that says, I'm not capable yet. I don't know enough yet. I'm still a beginner. This is like someone who's, you're trying to, you're trying to learn a new language. This is somebody that says, I'm not comfortable speaking it. I don't know enough words. I'm not that good at it. I'm not going to go out there and use the language, right? This is somebody who they take a couple of these little lessons on Duolingo and they're out there at the restaurant like just speaking Spanish all day long. This is somebody who really isn't self-conscious at all, really is confident. And even though saying, well, yeah, I only know a couple words, but you know what? I'm going to use those words every chance I get. And it's kind of a combination of this that helps us to grow and become proficient at something. We don't have to wait until we know everything to have the confidence to go out and use it. A lot of the time it's by going out and using it and maybe embarrassing ourselves and, using the wrong words and not conjugating our verbs correctly. That's how we learn. People might correct us, we'll study some more, and we're kind of living the experience, So whatever you're doing right now, there is this feeling that you're not good enough. There's a feeling like, I can't do it yet because I don't know enough about it. Well, you don't know enough about it because you're not doing it yet. It's kind of like saying, I can't change anything in my world because I don't have the experience. I don't know enough about changing things. I don't know how to make those decisions because I've never done that before. Well, the only way you're going to remedy that is by going and doing it, gaining the experience, you see. So sometimes this is that insecurity and that self-doubt that prevents us from doing the thing that will alleviate the self-doubt anyway. Okay. So by the way forward for you is pushing forward. Okay, not giving up, not acquiescing, not letting the world change you, but you pushing back and you changing the world. Now, here's the old world. Here's the old version of things. This was your previous reality. This was, I think, perhaps conditions that felt a little isolating, a little lonely, a little cold. These are conditions that were changing you, turning you into somebody that when it really comes down to it, you realize you didn't really want to become. This card tells me that this current situation for you, this current moment in time where you're getting the courage to make the positive changes, this has been a long time coming. This is the card that says things have been the same for too long. Things have been carrying on this way long enough. Now it's time that we invoke our magician and our confidence and say, you know what, I may not have all the answers, but these are the changes that I'm making in life. These are the things that I want to do in a positive way. So this card really is the active change. It's saying, I want to do more of A, B, and C. This card is saying, I want to do less of D, E, and F, or whatever, right? 1, 2, 3, whatever. Assign that whatever labels you want. So this is the kind of the passive thing. This is saying, I'm done letting these things be part of my life, right? So we're kind of letting go of things. Yeah. Whereas the Eon card is saying, I want to do more of certain things. So it's kind of, it's a positive change, and this is a kind of a negative change. I'm doing less of something, This could be, I don't know. This could be saying, I want to be more kind to strangers. Yeah. This card might be saying, I want to be a little bit less short-tempered. Right? So we're trying to do less of something here, do more of something here. You see, that just as an illustration. I don't think you have a temper or anything. In fact, I think maybe you need a little bit more of a temper, But this is that card that says, on the other side of this doorway is a new universe. So the only way forward for you is to intentionally go through this very active, very fiery doorway. That does require that we leave behind a lot of the nonsense. If we're going to get happy, if we're going to have the abundance and on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes, we got to let go of all of our baggage, all of our anchors. Got to let go of whatever this was for you. Whatever the conditions of your life were that were making you feel more isolated, lonely, it felt cold. Maybe this was the idea that you're trying to adapt to a hostile universe. And how do we do that? Well, we become either so quiet and meek to not attract the hostility, or we become hostile ourselves. Neither of those really seem very, very good options, right? So we're thinking, I just need to create a different reality. I need a different world. Yeah. There's somebody in your life that has always refused to change. Kind of feel like it was a father figure or something, right? Or a parent, or someone that raised you. They were never really big on change. I feel like as you were growing up, there was somebody in your life that expected everybody else around them to conform to them. They were never willing to compromise or change or to do anything differently or be flexible at all, right? That's what Spirit's telling me. Now, you do some work with your hands also. You do crafting, or you put things together. You do some kind of molding or sculpting or knitting, crocheting, sewing, something that's like, putting things together with your fingers. Yeah, it's very tactile. It's very like fine motor skills kind of work, yeah. Maybe it's technical. Maybe it's some kind of electronics or something. Anyway, Path of the Serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, by the way, please do. These readings are totally free. So we start with our Knight of Pentacles. This is your ability to see the future. I think right now you're looking at your future and you're realizing that it can be a lot different. You're realizing that, hey, I've got a future out there. There is something like long-term, short-term, and medium-term that I want. It's like we're looking at our future selves, and we're saying, I can be happy. I can have the life I want. And I think we need to start with that vision. We need to see it in our mind's eye, who we are, where we are, what we're doing down the road. We need to believe that it's already there waiting for us. We have to believe that it's already manifested. It's just a matter of us now taking the steps toward that goal, right? And I think it has to start with the vision. We have to believe that it's there. We have to see the mountain. We have to see the summit of the mountain. We think, okay, all that's left to do is climb the mountain. Seems simple, right? And that leads us to our Eight of Pentacles, which is a card of caution, prudence, patience, but of growth. See, over here, this is patience as well, right? But to me, this feels like infinite patience. It feels like you've been waiting for something for an eternity. Okay, and this feels to me like you've been surrendering to something, and the Hanged Man kind of, in this universe, it feels like we've been floating around waiting for our day, waiting for our time, waiting to be chosen, waiting for the recognition, waiting for someone to come along and say, hey, you're doing great work. Here's a promotion, right? We've been waiting for something like that to happen, and it hasn't happened. So I think what's going on now with you is you're like, I can see the future that I want, and now I've got to go get it. No more waiting. No more kind of passive conforming or yielding or surrendering or acquiescing and hoping that one day what I want will come find me. No. We're doing less waiting and more getting, right? But the Eight of Pentacles is the card of caution and prudence and being smart and letting things grow naturally and organically. And we realize that it's going to take time. Things need to be cultivated, especially relationships. If we're talking mostly about relationships here, we realize that they need to happen slowly over time. But there needs to be growth. We need to be able to recognize when something is just like dormant, not growing, frozen. And when it is growing, it's just taking a while, right? Back here in the cold vastness of space, nothing can grow. We've been waiting. Nothing has sprouted. Here, we don't mind waiting. We know what waiting is like. So we're comfortable with that as long as we see that there's progress being made. Yeah, so you're not someone who is just suddenly in a rush and you're gonna be hasty and impulsive and no. We know that the right kind of life, the right kind of journey up the mountain to the summit of the mountain is going to take time. I can't just run all the way to the top and there I am. It's going to have to take place in a organic kind of way, right? So this card is about the cultivation of something and how something worthwhile and meaningful is going to take time to cultivate. Yeah. And that is sort of interesting. Then we've got the Queen of Wands and that the position of the difficulty. Okay, because we're trying to be more assertive. We're trying to be more self-confident. We're trying to be more, sort of extroverted in a way. But we don't want to be short-tempered. We don't want to be impulsive. Okay, we don't want to. We don't want to get so wrapped up in the fire, sort of assertive energy here, that we end up becoming just the same type of energy that we're trying to get away from. Okay? I'm trying to, in other words, this is the person we don't want to become. However, we need to be a little bit like this person. Okay? We need to be assertive. We need to have a little bit of a temper. But we don't want to be, let's say if it's the parents or whoever has raised us when we were kids, right? Where they had this very stubborn, very almost fierce energy where they did not change, they did not conform. Everybody else was expected to sort of bow down and do what they wanted, right? This could have been a boss, it could have been a sibling, it could have been, a parent or something. We don't want to become like that. Okay? We don't want to be, let's say again, what I said earlier, if the world feels hostile, we either become meek and humble and small and stay out of the way so that we don't get to feel the wrath of that hostility, or we become hostile too. Okay? We don't want either of that. We don't want to become that hostile person, but we do need a little bit of that energy. We've got to somehow harness that, but use it for our highest good. We don't want to become that. But we got to take like the best qualities of that and use them to our advantage. I hope that makes sense. The Hanged Man there at the end, now we talked about that, okay, and how that means a couple of different things. It is, in a way, it is the ego sort of sacrificing itself for the higher purpose. And I think that has a lot to do with what we said here about the self-confidence and how the ego is kind of like, a little bit insecure about what it feels it's capable of. And so sometimes we just have to go forward and do things with our spiritual force and fire, with our confidence, but not the short-temperedness, not the hostility, and just do it anyway, okay? And the ego sort of goes along for the ride. I think that Hanged Man is also, as I said, sort of the negative changes, right? And I mean negative not in a value judgment way, but really like we're stopping doing things. This is us. I'm beginning new intentional practices, and this is me. I'm stopping some other behaviors that I don't want to do anymore. Maybe it's a behavior of like always letting other people go first, of always like always being the one to sort of lower our heads and avert our eyes and let everybody go through first, and then we go in last, right? This is sometimes a card that says we deprioritize ourselves. And it almost feels like sometimes we don't value ourselves enough to say, hey, I want to go first today, or at least somewhere in the middle. This is a card that kind of is always last. Why? Well, because we're insecure. We don't have the self-confidence. Or we don't value ourselves enough. We don't feel like we deserve to ever really go first. Okay? So this is letting the world do what it does, and we're just going to try to be okay with it. Try to find a way to just get through the day, So I think we kind of need to turn things around here. We need to prioritize our own needs and our own kind of right or even obligation to pursue our happiness, to cultivate our lives in the way that feels like it is, it is authentic and true and in alignment with our highest good. Yeah. And the way to do that right now, I think, is a lot of this self-assertiveness. Let's look at the mystery card. Will it be the Empress? Will it be the Temperance card? Two of Pentacles, Justice card, maybe a Two of Swords. I don't really think Two of Swords, but a card of Balance or a card of Fire. It might be a Tower. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see. Oh, Ten of Cups. Oh, that's beautiful. This is the dream come true, right? This really is a confirmation that your happy life is out there, and you do deserve it, and you will achieve it, okay? We've got to believe that we deserve it. We've got to see it. The knight, right? The knights of the tarot are always looking at the tens, okay? It happens to be Pentacles and Cups. It doesn't really matter. Looking at the future and think, I can be this person. That can be me. That can be us right there. With our pets, our plants, our people, living the good life, living the dream. With this gratitude, with this pride. This is satiety. Right? This is saying if I strive now, if I activate some of this fire energy, if I just believe in myself and I have confidence and I make these positive changes, then I'll reach a point in life where I can sort of ease down on that, right? We don't have to become this person. Maybe we need to become them a little bit for a short period of time. But this is the card that says, okay, I can turn off that energy. But see, the problem with the Queen of Wands is that it does not like the Ten of Cups, because the Ten of Cups will quench the fire. So it's kind of like if we get stuck in this fiery energy, we'll never be satisfied, because we'll just be fire all the time. And fire just wants to burn, just wants to keep going, right? We got to remember to turn that off and be content. Push forward with our energy and our confidence, our force and fire. Make the changes we need to make in life, and then enjoy those. Be content, be satisfied with the life we're creating. Connect with it, enjoy it, and appreciate it. Yeah. This is really good. We're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top and there's a link down below. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.